I'm Lindsay Anderson, editor of Access Lift and Handlers magazine. Thank you for tuning in. Access Lift and Handlers and Access International have created a combined report highlighting the past year's worth of interviews. Our document dives into the North American and global access markets with views from CEOs and presidents of manufacturing and rental companies. North America, the largest access market in the world, continues to grow. According to the American Rental Association, the equipment and event rental industry in North America is set to surpass $61.3 billion in revenue this year. This represents a 5% increase compared to 2018. Although this figure is slightly down from the 5.3% previously forecast in February, it remains a strong figure, and the steady growth is expected to continue in each of the successive years of the forecast, eventually reaching $69.8 billion in revenue by 2022. In our interview with United Rentals' Michael Nealon, the former CEO, Nealon noted United is still a long way from saturation in North America. The company has just over 1,000 branches and around an 11% market share. Bob Kendall, president of West Coast located Star Rentals, said his attention is focused on an oversupplied rental space. Kendall noted that the U.S. is experiencing a robust construction economy, but ponders what will happen when the economy slows. He said non-residential construction in the private sector is peaking, and increased building costs and interest rates have started to have an impact. However, he does see positivity with public spending over the next 2 years, most likely for schools, infrastructure, and defense as well. Southeastern Equipment Company's Vice President Heath Watton told us his company is very confident with its outlook for the coming year. He expects a big push for the next 36 to 42 months with oil and gas and the summer weather. Those will both propel business. The company also sees expansions from natural gas, the expansion of power plants and plastic plants. Overall, he said he is seeing a healthy activity across the board. Frank Nierenhausen, president of JLG, said the company just raised its guidance for the year on its last earnings call due to successful returns. Nierenhausen said he frequently gets asked if we're at the top of the cycle. The answer, he said, is in the positive. There's room for growth in the market. Machines are being used and adapted to more and more applications. For Genie, telehandlers remain strong. Simon Meester, the company's vice president of global sales and marketing, said telehandlers' versatility provide many returns and that the units are booming for the company. Genie expects that market to be strong for the remainder of 2019. Meanwhile, booms and scissors have been experiencing a catch your breath, so to speak, Meester said. The company doesn't see any slight slowdown impacting the long-term upside of the industry, because if you truly look at fleet replacements, the industry is going to continue to grow and will continue to be healthy for years to come. Genie's president, Matt Fearon, said North America has seen significant growth in recent times, with 2017 and 2018 standing out. Fearon expects this to level out, but doesn't see a major turn down for the remainder of 2019. He noted a slowdown could come as a result of better fleet management by rental companies who are getting better at managing their fleets. Fearon believes it's healthy for the industry to slow down a little so it doesn't get to be a big bubble that just pops. Brad Bueller, president of Skyjack, said the company is experiencing a similar mode to last year. He expects slight growth because there's a lot of work for the contracting base and there's a lot of CapEx being committed. Most of the market projections are still somewhat optimistic, Bueller said, and while 2019's growth might not be as large as the growth of last year, it's still growth nonetheless.
Continuing on the subject of North America, Don Ahern, owner of the Ahern family of companies, says the rental market on the continent is as good as it's ever been. But there are no plans for Ahern Rentals to expand overseas. Rental rates in the US are at an all-time high, and utilisation is very good too, although he added he feels the market is on the top or towards the top of the curve, and the market will level out. Bearing that in mind, one might have thought Ahern would expand its rental company overseas in the same way it has done, quickly growing its distributorships across the world, as well as with Snorkel, its mute manufacturing brand. But he says there is absolutely no opportunity for us to do rental outside the US, and we would not look at any rental company in any foreign country at all. Not so for the world's biggest rental company, United Rentals. United entered the European market after announcing the acquisition of Baker Corp last year, which operates 46 locations across the US and Canada, as well as 11 locations in France, Germany, the UK and the Netherlands. Neelan says it's a chance for us to test the waters through established locations in 4 more countries with developed rental markets. Dawn Kenny, the CEO of Europe-based Loxam's Powered Access division, is also mulling over expansion possibilities. Loxam bought Lavenden in 2017, giving it the world's 3rd largest access fleet. Would the company consider heading east into Asia? I can see that happening in time, says Kenny. Loxam is already in Brazil, Colombia and Morocco. I am not aware there are any limitations. It's an opportunity-rich environment, he adds. And it certainly is. Korea Rental Corporation, for example, is already well established in Asia and incidentally was instrumental in creating the mute market in Vietnam, which is growing quickly along with other Southeast Asia nations. Yongki Eom, the CEO of Korea Rental, explains how its 9,000 strong fleet of mutes is also growing rapidly in its home market and overseas. But the decision to move into markets boils down to the ability to localise effectively and fit in. China, he says, is a challenge even for his company. To enter China, you really need to merge with another company, he says. There is big potential with rapid growth, but it is a tough market and we cannot enter it by ourselves. Acquisitions and mergers could be the answer too for China-based companies wishing to move into other parts of the world. Zoomlion is just one of the general construction manufacturers in China to have started its own access division. The division's general manager, Ron Hooley, says in the short term, 80% of sales are expected to be in China. But its international approach isn't half-hearted either. The company will set up a production plant in the manufacturer's existing European facilities. It's not just the Chinese manufacturers getting into access. Articulating loader crane manufacturer Fassi, based in Italy, bought France-based ATN last year. I wanted to get back into access and had the opportunity, says CEO Giovanni Fassi. We had been talking to them anyway, and they were struggling and looking for an investor. JLG, it would seem, is also happy to remain on the acquisition trail following its buyout of Power Towers in recent years. Although President Frank Neuenhuisen says future growth is more likely to be organic. I won't rule out M&A in the future, but that's not our primary vision. If something comes up that makes sense, then we'll look at it. But he says JLG is categorically not up for sale. The same is true for Genie, says Terex AWP President Matt Fearon. Terex is seeing some changes following the sale of its crane products, but there are no plans for Genie to go the same way, he says. There are 25 interviews in AI and ALH's interview reports, which together provide a unique overview of the access market and the direction it is heading. The report can be found on khl.com at a very reasonable cost, along with all the latest news and industry events.